Hey guys, it's Sophie. You're watching WitchieWheelin. How are you guys doing? I'm back for another moment back in the office, in this fun little messy office that I share. But I wanted to talk with you guys today about why actually I love putting together the skating and the witchcraft, or anything that you're doing that when it comes to spiritual connection. And one of the things that I have noticed that we all struggle with is grounding. We talk about it a lot. We know we need it. Okay. That is without question. But how often are we really successfully doing that and actually using it in our daily lives? Not enough. But why is that? Hear me out. We live our lives oftentimes in a very negative point of view, whether or not we even realize it. And the reason why we don't realize it sometimes is because our culture is built around it. We are built around, even just think in a little way when it comes to brain training, sarcasm. Yeah. Um, we are also become so obsessed with awareness that a lot of times we embody the negativity, even if it's not our own. Might be something to think about. Stress. Stress. That's a lot, especially with the way culture is here. Okay. I'm in the US, and there's a lot of countries that have very similar, if not the same, type of cultural customs. Stress is huge. Stress comes from fear, hardship, frustrations, not being able to complete things we want to complete, not having enough time to even experience something pleasurable, relaxing, all that kind of stuff. In fact, it's so prevalent. There's something that I had actually seen, and it's 100% true, and I will speak it loud and clear now. Oftentimes, what we refer to now as self-care is aftercare. It's not self-care, aftercare. And the reason why is we're using what we envision as self-care as something to make us feel better after having just experienced stress. So huge, hard week at work, crazy. It's got you through the roof, pulling your hair out, whether it be tasks on hand, your boss is on your ass, whether it be that people you work with are just pissing you off. It doesn't matter. Maybe you had something sideswiped from you, or a sale taken, or something that was huge. I mean, all these stressors come into play, and that's just referring to a few possibilities at work. That is not all inclusive, and that does not include anything when it comes to typical life either, outside of the workspace. But I talk about work because why? You have to do it. It's where we spend so much of our time. It's a huge stress causer. Okay. What that's going to do is pull you out of grounding every single time. Every time. If you're scared of something, if you deal with anxiety, depression, or if you deal with one of those as a subsequent diagnosis to something like, I got ADHD. All right. So it can come hand in hand depending on what's going on. PTSD, you've got, by both types of bipolar, you've got, borderline personality, you've got all types of different mental illnesses that you may need to deal with. That could be you. That's going to tack on those stressors, and it's going to pull you out of being grounded. Being grounded is important because we're here on earth having an earth walk. We're having a human experience. We literally picked to be born and live on this earth, to live this life. Whether we understand that this is real life or we're living in a real world video game, I think of it as a real world video game for lessons. We chose to be here. We chose to have this human experience. That human experience requires being within yourself fully. It requires fully embodying your body energetically. And that's what grounding is supposed to bring you back to. You just lose it though with all these distractions and stressors and things we've got to do and this stuff that keeps us pulled away from our spiritual selves, our divine selves. And it's easy for our culture to do that because it doesn't take much, actually. It doesn't take much with how the culture is built to pull us out of that, which also leads us to being able to do whatever we're supposed to do, which oftentimes is to go consume stuff, to go buy stuff. Very capitalist culture, right? We're meant to buy stuff. We have to be persuaded to buy stuff, whether it's products or services. That's what we're built around. That causes stress, that causes marketing, that causes advertising, that causes all that stuff. We're getting berated all the time with things like that. Even sitting and watching this video will take those moments away. Okay? Now, to watch something like this and to learn is wonderful. Take those moments to learn. But you need to go back within yourself, reground yourself, get yourself reestablished, get yourself solid. And that way, not only can you handle just regular life better, which is why these videos don't have to be just about the spiritual woo-woos, we'll call them, okay? But it can be for anybody's because you still have to live your life, spiritual or not. And getting grounded back into your energy inside of your body is the way to do that. When you go through and you exercise, you find especially something that you love to do that requires physical activity. It helps to ground you. It pulls you back into your body. It reminds you of who you are on this earth. Because why? You don't have a choice to, in real life, to be on this earth and then just have your spirit elsewhere. We also can't just live in our higher chakras in the spirit realm while living on this earth, because we're not supposed to. There is a reason why you can't just see all the spirits that are around us. For some, all the ghosts, right? Oh, scary stuff. And it's because we're alive. And we are alive in this body. We are alive with the limitations of this body and how we go about pursuing life within it. So if you want to maximize life on this earth while you're here, grounding is going to be so incredibly important. But understanding how easy it is to be pulled out of that grounded state and how often you actually need to pull yourself back in and reground is huge. Remember, stress is going to pull you out of being grounded. You need to reground. Negative feelings, sadness, depression, anger, those kinds of things will pull you out of being grounded. For example, if you're somebody who can get very angry in a hot second, that's going to pull you out of being grounded. There's a purpose behind it, by the way. If there wasn't a purpose, it wouldn't happen. But it does. You need to pull yourself back in. Feel whatever feelings that you're having. Let those flow, ebb and flow, waves of an ocean, okay? Let it swell up, but you've got to let them calm back down. And then you need to pull yourself back in and reground in your body. Find your strength again. Find your power again. When you do that and you establish that stability, that grounding, that I am, then that is when you can empower your magic again. When you feel good in your body, when you feel solid in your body, you can empower your magic like you wouldn't believe. You can empower your prayers like you wouldn't believe. Like, I'm talking, you don't even gotta think about it. You just do it. And I say that because I want you to take a moment, think about a time when you felt physically wonderful. Like for me, when I'm on my skates, I'm doing my big downhill bomber on that trail. And man, boy, was I happy. I got to 17.6 miles per hour on my little skates. Oh, it was great. You know what that was? That was the feeling of freedom, the wind in my face, the strength in my legs and my feet. Like, I am there. Man, is that good. My body is strong and I am enjoying it. That's what I want for you. That's why this is so important. And that's just one piece. This is about pulling you back into yourself. This is about graying the separation, that black and white separation of spiritual life and physical life. Like they're two separate things. And they're not. They're not. All right? They're being pulled back together again. That's the unification that we need to be looking for. That is going to help us balance ourselves. That's going to help improve our human experience. That is going to help with establishing manifestation here while we're on earth. On all of it's so important. All of it. I want that for you. I want that for you so bad. I really do. And this is absolutely everything that you can do yourself. What I am honestly telling you right now is just a guidebook. It's just a guidebook. You got to learn it from somewhere. And if it's not for me, learn it from somebody else. Awesome. Just as long as you learn it and utilize it. That's what's important. Heck, if you are like me and you do love roller skating, you can even work on manifesting in that moment. Because why? When you manifest, it needs to start as a thought process. Then you need to feel it emotionally in your body. And then you need to transform that into the physical world as that manifestation. It's the proper order. A lot of times we like to skip step number 2. We like to think of something and then try to make it work. But you see, if you skip number 2, it doesn't quite work right. Right? You can start with a thought. Think about that. And while you're out roller skating, do something simple, something you love. Let yourself feel that thought, what it would be like to have that thing or to do this, to acquire this, whatever the case may be. Let that feeling fill your body. And then as you take your next move in your roller skating, in that moment of power, freedom, strength, continue to focus on what you want. Let that come through as physical emotion and embody it. And then once you're done roller skating, go ahead and take the steps you need to make that manifestation happen. And you'd be surprised at suddenly how easily things come. Of course, the bigger the acquisition, whatever it may be, the longer it might take, the harder it might be. And there might be nuances that are particular to you when it comes to this whole concept of manifestation and magic. That's okay. Everything's a trial and error, and we're all unique in our own little way. And we're all little pieces of the puzzle, which means though we all have our unique characteristics within that puzzle, and we may need to utilize that. But either way, this process of thinking, feeling, manifesting, that order, utilizing the power of physical activity, utilizing that grounding process will help make the entire process that much more easy. And we can't complain about that. That's awesome. All right. I will quit my rambling for today. I love you all. My name is Sophie. You're watching WitchieWheelin. Hope you have an awesome rest of your week.